Hey Terraformers, it's Andrew Brown, and we are getting into it. We're going to build out our project here. So we've done a few things in the pre-week. We used the Terraform CLI, we did a plan, apply, destroy. We uploaded our Terraform state over here to Terraform Cloud, which is over here. We created a very simple S3 bucket with a randomizer. The randomizer is not in here in the architecture because when I first did this, I didn't use randomizer. That is a change from the original design. We've pulled down our providers from registry.terraform.io, and they are locked in their versions over here. So yeah, we got quite a bit already off our plate, but we need to start getting into this infrastructure up here. And I know it looks complicated, but it's not as bad as you think, okay? So what I did is I searched up a standard module structure because in Terraform, everything is modules. When you create a main file, you've actually created yourself a module. And if you remember, modules are reusable templates or code to allow portability, flexibility, etc. When working with Terraform. And so we have a root module. So this is the only required element for standard module structure. Terraform files must exist in a root directory of a repository. So main.tf or anything with a .tf will be considered your root structure. And then the root module or any nested module should have a README file. This file should be named README or README-MD. The latter will be treated as Markdown. And so you should have a README file. I can't remember exactly why. I just remember that it won't detect it or something if you don't have the README file. So we'll make sure that we have READMEs for modules that we want to be able to see or work with. Should have a license in here. We'll see if we do that. And then we expect to see the main TF, the variables TF, and the output TFs, which are generally recommended. So maybe that'll be our first step, is just to get our current directory in better shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to our project, wherever that is. I'm going to open up this context here because I've lost where I am. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new issue. And we're going to set up organize root module. And so according to this documentation, I'm going to go over to our README and we'll go all the way down to the bottom. I keep talking about making a table of contents. You know what? We should just do that now because we keep putting it off. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do this out of order, but we're changing this video and we are going to do this one here, but I want to do first create table of contents for Markdown. So we can just see what is going on. Create a table of contents in our README file because it is becoming very hard to see what's going on here. So I'll go ahead and create that. And for Markdown, I'm not sure why I worded it that way. I'm going to say create table, create TOC README. Okay, so I'm just going to shorten that so that when this generates out, it's a little bit nicer. Yep, that's a bit nicer. Okay. And I'm just going to check out that branch now. If you did it the proper way and didn't open this up immediately, you can just click on that. But I'm just going to fetch it and check it out. So we'll do git. Oh, it's not letting me type here. Hello, let me type. There we go. Git fetch. Clear git fetch. Okay, drag this up for a second. And I'm going to do a git checkout 19. I'm just going to copy that. Hit enter. And we'll do a git pull. Don't think we have to pull, but I like to do that anyway. And so what we're going to do is just make sense of this mess here. So we go all the way to the top. I think this is, I want the preview here. There we go. I want to just give it some structure. So I'm just going to go here and say table of contents. And we want the first one here. So this will be semantic versioning. And then I'm just going to type in semantic. I don't know if this is going to mess it up if I take that out there. Semantic / semantic. Maybe pound. There we go. That's what I want. Semantic versioning. That's the first one. And then next we have install Terraform. So we'll go and grab this heading. Okay, so we have that. I'm just going to give us as much room as we can while we're working through this. We'll scroll on down. And, you know, if you're worried about Git pod spend here, you could just edit it all in here, as I showed in an earlier video. I'm not worried about spend, but I'm just saying for you, if you are, or going through that credits, you can stop that if you need to. So we have this subheading here. I think we can do indented. Let's see if that works. Cut that out. Paste. Considerations. Terraform CLI changes. And I'm just going to, so I don't get any more notifications here, I'm just going to put myself to away or do not disturb. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking about like not wasting those Git pod credits here. So whoops, I didn't mean to go big here. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a commit here. So just say WIP. This will just be #19. Sync those changes. And what we'll do is we'll see if it's a struggle, but we'll try to do it without doing it in here. So I'll do a bit here by myself, and then I'm going to expect you to finish the rest on your own, because I don't think you want to watch me for 30, 40 minutes, create a table of contents when, you know, you can do that on your own. Did not mean to open that up. I want to stop this workspace. I'm going to go over to this branch here. So I'm going to go code. We're going to go over to the branch, 19 here. And yeah, I mean, that's looking a little bit better. So I'm just going to right click here in a new tab. So what I want to know is if I go here, let's go down here. This actually might be easier over here. Considerations. I do this. What I want to know is if I do pound, does it autocomplete? No, which is kind of frustrating, but we'll go down here and we can grab it this way though as well. So if I go here and grab that, then I can grab the anchor from here. So that's not as bad. Okay, go preview. Great, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to work through all this, and I expect you to do the same, and I'll see you back here in a moment, okay? All right, I just realized that's gonna take a little bit of time, so I looked up, I just Googled create TOC from Markdown. Let's work smarter, not harder, and let's see if this will actually work. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the contents here, so I'm just gonna take that out. And just this mess here, and we'll just take this level out, and we'll try and see if this is smart enough to work for us. And it looks like something, so it looks like we're in good shape. Let's see if this actually makes sense. So we'll go ahead and copy this. Okay, and we'll go ahead and hit preview. I mean, that looks pretty good. I'm not sure why this one didn't work, and maybe the hyphens don't work with that one. So I'm just going to undo that. And we're going to go down here, and we're going to just look for that one here. And you know, I just thought about it. I think I'm going to break up the the documentation into 4 pages. So before we do this, I'm just going to circle back here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make a new folder here. We'll make a new folder, new file, and we'll say journal. You can call it, no, let's call it journal. We'll call it journal, okay? And we'll do /.keep as a way to create that there. And I'm going to just make new files here. So I'm going to say create a file here. This will be week 0. And I'm going to commit that. And what we'll do is we'll put everything into week 0 here, and then we can link on the front all of our stuff, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to here and hit edit. And I'm going to just copy the contents here. I'm going to go into week 0, because this is going to get really, really hard to manage if we keep up at this pace, okay? So we'll just say this will be Terraform Cloud Project Bootcamp week 0. And we'll take out that table of contents there because that doesn't make sense now. And so what we'll do is now we'll copy the contents here. Okay. Bring it over to this TOC tool, convert it, and we can now go ahead and do this. And journal week 0, that's where we want to be. Okay. And we'll go to the top here. Now, one thing that I make sure you're in this branch and not main, because then you start make a mess of your main branch. So just double check that you are in the branch that we think we're working in right now. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and preview that. Now, I'm not sure if this makes sense, so we will we'll commit this and then we'll preview it. Okay. In terms of whether the list structure makes sense. But what I want to do is I'm just going to close. No, we want to keep this one open. And what I want to do is just take out all this stuff here, all this stuff down here. And I actually do want to keep this here. And bin generated TFC credentials. We have automated the workflow around using this bash script. Hopefully we didn't lose that documentation there. Yep, it's still there. Great. But I want to go ahead and grab this because this is a very useful tool. I'm just going to say here. GitHub, Markdown, TOC generator, so we can use that later on. And I'm going to clear this out. And what I want to do is just say week 0 journal. We'll put square braces here. And then we'll do journal / I'm not sure why it's not auto-completing, but let's just double check here. Go back here to code. Should be journal week 0. Yeah, so we'll do journal week 0.md. We'll preview that. I don't want both of these in that list here, so we'll just say journals, weekly journals. And we'll just put extras here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and commit our changes. It would be nice to get a screenshot of the project in here. So I'm going to go over to architectural diagram here. Just going to zoom out here for a moment. I'm going to take a nice screenshot of this. And I'm going to open up Paint. And I'm going to paste it into Paint here. Looks nice there. Okay, I'm going to just save it to my desktop. Save as. I'm going to save it as a PNG over here. I'm just going to save this as architectural diagram. Go ahead and save that. I'm going to make my way back over to here, and I want to just drag that in. So I'm just going to open up a folder here for this. And I'm just looking for the graphic. There it is. I'm going to go drag it in. Okay, so now we can kind of show what we're building. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm in the correct branch here. Commit those changes. Commit. Let's now go back over to our code here. Let's double check that these links work. So we'll double check that there. It says file not found. So yeah, I'm surprised it's not linking to the correct location. I thought we saved this. Did we not? 19, yes. Journal. We didn't call it .md, so that's a small issue there. Let's go and edit this file. That probably explains why it wasn't highlighting correctly earlier. Can I rename this file? I would like to rename this file. How do I do it? I don't know if we can do it that way, so I'm going to go over, I'm going to launch back up our Gitpod environment and fix that. It's probably the only way to fix it. That probably explains why it wasn't auto-completing earlier. So I'll just launch this up. See you in 2 seconds. There we go. I'm going to go down to journal here. Rename, we'll do .md. And we'll go to our source control. Fix file name. And we'll go back here and do 19 here and do commit, sync the changes. And I'm just going to close this. Again, I don't want to incur any kind of spend there. Make sure you hit that stop. And I'm going to go back over to here. And what I want to do is just click through to this one. It should now open. Good. And so the question is this formatted correctly? I'm just taking a close look here. Semantic versioning, install Terraform CLI. Considerations with Terraform CLI. Considerations for Linux distribution. Refactoring into bash scripts. We did do that for it. GitHub lifecycle. So working with nvar. So this could be its own level. This should be probably at the same level as this one. It says GitHub lifecycle. This is actually supposed to be Git pod. So we'll make those corrections here. Go ahead and edit that. So first of all, this should be Git pod lifecycles. Go down here and search for GitHub. Should be Git pod. Okay, so that's one issue. That's kind of its own thing. So I kind of feel like this should be at the same level as this one here. This is right against the wall. I know this is small, so I'll just zoom up. I'll get my head out of the way. Sorry. Go over here for now. And, whoops, zoom back out. So yeah, this should be right against the wall here, aligning with that one. This one, we want to bring this back a level. Well, actually, you know what? In order to do this, we should just be changing the levels. We shouldn't be fiddling with this because this is being generated out, right? So what we'll do is we will find those troubled areas. So we know that this one we want to fix. I'm going to open this up twice so it's a bit easier to work with. Let's just open this here, and I just want a new tab, so I'm just going to paste it in there like that. Okay. And so we know that this one we want it to be first level, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this and search for it. Yeah. Git pod. There, so this will be 2 levels, because that's our highest level, I believe, is 2. Yep, and then this one working with nvars, that should be 2, yep. So we'll do this 2, and this will be like this. Printing bar, scoping bars, persisting bars. Okay, so that level will be fixed. Able CLI installation, that should be its own level. So go back to 2 here. Terraform basics is fine. Yeah, so that should fix our issue. So I'm going to go ahead to the top here and copy everything down below again. Okay, and then we'll go back over to our generator and see if our new list is better. And we'll paste that in. There we go. We'll preview that. Yeah, that's the only one that's not linking. So what we'll do is we'll just change the name of that so we have less of that issue there. Type in git pod here. Git pod, git pod, git pod, git pod. Git pod life cycle. I'm going to just put a hyphen instead like this. And then that way we'll have less issues with that. All the way to the bottom here. And we'll copy that. We'll go back over here. We'll paste that in. And yeah, that should resolve that issue there. We'll go ahead and copy this. Close this extra tab. We don't need it anymore. We have 2 of them open. Again, making sure that we are working in the correct branch. We are good. All the way to the top here. And we'll paste that in. We'll go to preview. Still does not want to link. This thing does not want to link to save its life. Okay, why not? It's fine. So, yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is there, but we'll commit it and then we'll fix it, okay? So we'll do that, and no, it actually does link. It doesn't work. We'll go ahead here. I'm going to just go up to the top here. And so this is actually what the link is going to be. So it's just the generator can't handle that one in particular. You know, I'm just going to take the hyphen out because it's going to make too many problems for us here. I'll paste this one in here. Paste this here. And so that is actually what it's going to be. So it's all these things here. So maybe just we'll call it git lifecycle. Okay. Git pod lifecycle here. And then we will go down to this one and just do that. And that will make our lives way, way easier for that. Sometimes you just have to make things easy for yourself. Great, and we'll just test that one. Well, that one got changed, did it not? Let's refresh that. There we go. Did we forget the pound in there? Yeah. Now this is a good example where squashing is going to be really great for the branch. So we'll go here. Does it jump? Why? Refresh the page. I feel like we linked it right. We did. It's not jumping to the right place, though. It says GitHub up here. Of course it does. Of course it does. We got it wrong. Okay, git pod. We'll go back. Give this a refresh. Try this again. Great. So I think this is really good and nice and organized. But now for week 1, we will set ourselves up a new file because we already have a use case for that. I'm going to add a file here, create a new file. This will be week 1 MD. And I don't remember what we named the other one, so we'll go over here. I just want to grab that quickly. We can get to the raw content. And then just grab that there at the top. Go here, call this week 1. Okay, we'll commit those changes. We'll say commit the changes. And we are now in good shape. So now what I want to do is just close this out. And we'll go over to our issues. And we actually did a little bit more than just the TOC. I'm going to just edit this. Create journal folder. And yeah, we'll update the content. We did do that. We didn't link it on the front here, so we'll go ahead and edit this. Make sure we're in the correct branch. Hit edit. We'll go here, copy this. Paste it in below here. Week 1, week 1. Okay. Commit changes, commit changes. There we go. So now we can refresh the page. I'm not sure why it doesn't show up right away, but this should jump to week 1, which is empty. So now we are perfectly set up. Let's go ahead and create ourselves a pull request. We'll go and say new pull request. We will drop it down, go to 19. This is going to go into main. We'll create our pull request. We already know what we've done here, so we're not going to write in here what's happening. But notice that these are all the commits. Now, we don't want to have all these commits like this. We really do want them merged down to 1. So this squash is a perfect example of not having a big old mess. And we'll go ahead and hit confirm and merge squash. And so that is done. And all we've done is some documentation, which is not that big of a deal. But what I want to do now is go over and create a new tag. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to refresh here to get my git pod button. I'm going to go launch this. I'll see you in git pod in 2 moments, okay? All right, so this is launched up. We are not in the branch. Oh no, it's in main. That's where we want to be. So let's go take a look at what our last tag was. So that was 090. And you know what I want to do? I'm actually going to make every major version the version of the week. So 0 is going to be pre-week. 1 is going to be the major version for week 1. Week 2 will be that. Now, I said earlier, we talk about tagging. Really, you tag 1 when it is released for real out into the wild as your MVP. But I think that I would rather utilize the tagging in this way so we can understand which is week 0, week 1, and etc. like that. So that's what we're going to do, even though, you know, it's a little bit not real world, but I think that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say git tag 1.0.0. And I'm going to say git, well, before we do that, can we look at our tree? No, it's not showing it to us. Git push tags. Now, if anybody knows how we can see that right away, it'd be really nice to be able to see that without having to have stuff changed there. View as tree, is it that? No, that doesn't help. Well, let's go back over here. We're going to go and see if our version has been pushed. There we go, good. So we're starting with 100. See you in the next one. Ciao.